Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hi, my name is Krishnan. I'll be doing the Hindu news analysis for the day. These are the 5 articles we'll be discussing today, and towards the end, we'll discuss previous year questions as well. Let us move on to the first article. This is a science and technology question, and it talks about mitochondrial replacement theory. This has been in the news for a long time. So let us see what this is about. So what is the context? Why is it in news? Because recently the UK Health Regulatory Authority has told 8 years ago UK became the first country to approve mitochondrial replacement theory, right? But so far only 5 children have been born using this technology. So this information has come out, that is less than 5 children have been born using this MRT. And last year Australia became the second country to approve this theory. So only 2 countries have approved this so far. India has not approved this so far. So let us see what this mitochondrial replacement theory is about and why they are calling it in vitro fertilization. So what actually happens is, first thing that you should know is a child will get this mitochondria only from its mother. So father will not have any problem regarding this damaged mitochondria. So what will happen? See this diagram here. So this is the damaged mitochondria. But everything other than the mitochondria, everything else is good and it's functioning well. See, this is the donor's egg. That is, one more woman has to volunteer to donate her egg. Here what they'll do, they'll take the nucleus of this cell alone, because other mitochondria surrounding the nucleus is functioning well for her. Here they'll take the nucleus because this is good. Only the mitochondria has problem. So what they'll do, they'll take the nucleus and keep it here. Next what they'll do, they'll get the father's sperm and then they'll make both the egg and the sperm fertilize, and then the baby will be born. So what you should know here is, this will happen entirely from the mother's side only. Only mother's mitochondria will go to the child, and if there is a problem with the mitochondria, only the woman has to change it. So this is what I've given here. So what mitochondria actually involves, transferring the nucleogenetic material from a mother's egg into donor's egg. Why mother is involved? Because only the mother's mitochondria will go to the child. And finally what will happen? The embryo combines the sperm and egg from the biological parents, while the mitochondria is from the donor's egg. So see, sperm is from the father, egg is from the mother, and the mitochondria is from the donor. So that is why this is called 3-parent baby. I hope you understood this. So the baby will have DNA from each of its parents, because see, the donor will give 37 genes. So it will have 3 parents, and this is called in vitro fertilization. Next, what you should know, 6,500 babies in UK are born with mitochondrial, 1 in 6,000 babies in the UK is born with mitochondrial disorder. Why is this a problem? Because it can lead to heart and liver disease, respiratory problems. So all these issues can come because of damaged mitochondria. So this can even lead to the death of the infant. So UK only large number of babies are born like this. And they approve this theory because if treatment is approved, it can save around 10 lives each year. So as usual, you know this thing about mitochondria, right? We always make fun of this statement. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell, because I mean that's true though, but this is the only scientific fact that we remember that we learnt as a child. So mitochondria is the power of the cell. So what happens when mitochondria is damaged? Any mutation that damages the mitochondria, what will happen? It affects the energy hungry organs. So because of that, the organs will not function properly. So because of that only, mitochondrial replacement theory was brought in. I hope you understood this. Now let us move on to the next article. This article is about how extracting groundwater will lead to land subsistence. So you're all familiar with what happened in Joshimath, right? Joshimath is in Uttarakhand, and in Joshimath land sinking was there. But same things are happening, not in the hills, but even in the plains of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Faridabad. What is the reason? Excessive groundwater exploitation. So why is this excessive groundwater exploitation is happening? Because agricultural practices in northwest, that is Haryana, Punjab, it is heavily dependent on groundwater withdrawal. Why? Because of green revolution, high yielding variety seeds, they need a lot of water, and insecticides and pesticides are sprayed, and even for the proper growth of these crops, you need lot of water, and they are growing crops not just 3 times, 5 times a year. So for all those things you need water, right? So what is happening? Limited monsoon rain. Monsoon rain also it fails sometimes. So monsoon rain is limited. So groundwater table is very low. How do we know this? We have data from the Central Groundwater Board. See, in Punjab, 76% of the groundwater blocks are overexploited. They are not just exploited, they are overexploited. In Chandigarh, it is 64% and about 50% in Delhi. What does this mean? This means that more water is taken than what is being recharged. So, what will happen eventually? We will run out of all the water. So, what will happen over time? The underlying aquifers. What is aquifers? These are the aquifers. They should be recharged, right? How will they be recharged? They will be recharged through rain. If they are not recharged, what will happen? They'll run dry, and there will be a lot of soil and all. See, this soil, rock and all will be here, right? What will happen? It will sink. It will go down. If it goes down, what will happen? Eventually, there will be collapse and land will sink. So how do we know all this? Because if this happened even when digging operations were going on. So coal, oil, gas, when digging operations were done to take the oil and gas out, what will happen? There will be soil sinking. That is, the soil that is above these layers will sink. So how they are sinking? Because voids will be created. So to fill that void, the soil will sink, and this will lead to displacement. So what they are telling, if oil and gas are playing the same role, that is if they are leading to sinking, groundwater also will do the same thing only, no? So they are telling surely this is happening because of groundwater extraction, because we have already seen this in several parts of the world. So the Central Groundwater Board, this is a subsidiary of Jal Shakti Ministry. So they are assessing what is the state of India's groundwater resources. So they will absorb groundwater wells 4 times a year. But what they are doing is they are not telling what is the consequences of overexploitation. They are telling overexploitation is there, overexploitation there. But what are the consequences? How did they come to know? Because recently link between excessive groundwater extraction, land subsidence only became clear after this GRACE satellite. So this satellite only, it measured the minute changes in gravities in different part of Earth's surface, and they came to a conclusion this is happening because of groundwater extraction only. So even a research paper came from Gujarat. It said even in Gandhinagar this is happening because of over groundwater extraction. In Gandhinagar there is land sinking. So because of that, what the authors are telling, surely we can tell this land sinking is not specific to North India alone. So have a look at this map. See, this is where groundwater extraction is the most. Here, these are the overexploited areas. You can see some areas here also. So why did this take such a long time to find? Because landslip, earthquakes and all, you can immediately see the subsidence. But with groundwater extraction, what will happen? Gradually and very slowly only you will know. So it becomes very hard to correlate with structural damage. So but now we have evidence to find in the NCR region itself, the land sunk on an average 15 millimeter per year because of groundwater extraction only. So what are the reasons? So scientists are telling urbanization and unplanned growth. So you urbanize, that is not a problem, but it should be planned, right? So that is the problem. Because of this urbanization and unplanned growth, lot of groundwater was taken for domestic use, industrial use. Because of that, all these things are happening. So how they are sure there is no land subsistence? In some areas there is land subsistence, in some areas there are no land subsistence, right? How they are telling is, in areas where groundwater is still there, in areas where there are aquifers are still there, in those areas there is no in those areas there is no subsidence. Only in areas where there are no groundwater or aquifer, only in those areas subsidence and land sinking is there. So see, however, in other parts, where the subsurface had no water, it showed signs of sinking. So that is what they are telling. If groundwater is proper, there is no sinking. If groundwater is not there, the land is sinking inside. So again, this is a map of groundwater decline in northern parts of the country. So but one good news is, in Dwaraka they found if you allow groundwater to recharge, the sinking gets reversed. So in Dwaraka there was a lot of subsidence, but the subsidence reversed when because of rainwater harvesting, this aquifer levels were recharged. That is, groundwater levels increased because of rainwater harvesting practices. And what happened? This subsidence or the land sinking reversed. It became normal. So what they are telling is, if we do proper rainwater harvesting practices, we can overcome all these problems. So the Haryana and Punjab scientists at the Indian Institute of Remote Science, what they found, every year in these areas 7 to 12 centimeter all subsidence. So why? Because groundwater extraction rates are 46 centimeter to 236, so very high. We can see all this in other parts of the country also. In Kolkata, eastern parts of India also, groundwater blocks and land subsidence are there because of over extraction of water. So what finally the authors are telling, there needs to be greater recognition. So they are telling groundwater exploitation will not just lead to water scarcity, but land sinking also will be there because of groundwater exploitation. So we should take it across people, we should create awareness. This is not just the problem of water scarcity, but land sinking, subsidence, all those things will happen because of this. So this is what they are trying to say. Now let us move on to the next article. This article is about Western Ghats and the type of biodiversity it supports. So first, this is the Western Ghat. It starts from Gujarat actually, but I put this map here because you see this gap here. This is the Palakkad, as the locals say. So if you have to go to Kerala from Tamil Nadu, so this is how you go. This is the way. So wherever you are, you'll have to take this route only to go to Kerala. Of course, there's a very small gap here also, which is called the Shenkota gap, but this is the most famous gap. So let us go on to the article and see what the author tries to tell us. So this is the significant discontinuity. See, because there are other small discontinuities, through that also you can reach Kerala, but this is the significant discontinuity. So this is about 40 kilometer wide, and you have Nilgiris and the Anaimalai hills on the both sides rising close to 2000 meters mean sea level on either side. So they are like 2000 meters, just imagine, right? So very big. So the Palakkad gap has historically been important because it is the gateway to state of Kerala. So if you take a train also, the train will go through that route only. So it connects, the roads and rail connects Coimbatore with Palakkad, and in Palakkad you have the Bharatapuzha river. This you should know the river is there, and see, in the Western Ghats are tropical rainforest, right? But Palakkad is here and here you have tropical rainforest, but here you have dry evergreen forest. So that is quite fascinating, right? That is the wonder of nature. And see, because of this gap, there are a lot of differences between animals that are here and there. So there's a divide because of this, the flora and fauna of the region. So for example, several species of frogs are found only on the one side of the gap. So if there are certain species here, they'll be found only here, they'll not be found here. Next, what should you know? This gap is called the geological shear zone. So what are geological shear zones? They are weak regions. So these are all weak regions in the earth's crust. So that is why this Coimbatore part of Tamil Nadu, it feels tremors now and then because it is in the shear zone, that is the weak zone. So now let us see the origin of Palakkad gap. This is because in the drift in the continental shelf. So you all know, when Gondwana was there, Australia, Africa, everything was part of the same landmass. And when this drifting happened, this Madagascar and other parts went away, and Australia and Africa went away. So this remains only is the Western Ghats. I mean this gap in the Western Ghats. So and after drifting also, in India and Madagascar was one landmass only, but there was a large scale volcanic activity. So I hope you are able to understand. So there was large scale volcanic activity. That volcanic activity only split India and Madagascar. So where did that volcanic activity happen? The volcanic activity happened in Palakkad gap only. That is why you see the gap here also. Before the volcanic activity, how this place would have been, even here there might have been a lot of forests and trees and vegetation, flora and fauna. Because the volcanic activity happened here, there is gap here. The same thing can be seen where in Ranotsara gap in the eastern face of Madagascar. So just like how it is here, the same thing is there in Madagascar. So next what they are telling, what is the reason for the biogeographic distinctions in species in the north and south of the gap? That is because they are telling a river could have flown here, or there might have been an incursion of the sea. That is like million years back, they are telling this could have happened. There could have been an ancient river. That is why there is because if rivers or ocean flows, what will happen? Here, in the north of the gap, species will evolve separately. In south of the gap, species will evolve separately, right? But now there is nothing separating them. But why there is so much of difference? It is because geologists are telling in the ancient past, river or sea might have been there. That is why one species did not cross over to the other region. So you see, they are telling even the elephant populations in the Nilgiri side have mitochondrial DNA, which is very different from the elephants of the Annamalai and the Periyar sanctuaries. And see, one study from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, they analyzed the DNA of white-bellied shortwing. So this is the white-bellied shortwing. Look how beautiful it is. So this is endemic to Western Ghats. This is the DNA of this bird is very different from another beauty which is called Nilgiri blue robin. So they all look similar only. If you see Nilgiri blue robin and white-bellied shortwing, they are different only. I mean, they look same. Both of them will be blue and everything more or less they'll be same, but DNA is different. So they are telling that is because of the gap in the Palghat. See, the Annamalai group, it differs slightly only in appearance. It is called the white-bellied blue robin. So how do you express the biodiversity of a region? It is expressed in two ways. One is you see what are the species richness, how many species are there. So how many species are found in ecosystem, that you will see. Then you will see phylogenetic diversity. That is, can you see species of all evolutionary age? So that is also very important. Some species will be in one stage of evolution, some species will be in advanced stage of evolution. So can you find all these things in a region? With that only you will calculate the biodiversity of a region. So both these things are abundant in Western Ghats. That too were not in the north of Palghat Gap, in the south of Palghat Gap. So in fact there are 450 species of trees in the southern part of Palghat Gap. And see this particular tree, Magnolia champaka, because in Tamil it is called Shambagam. This species of tree is 130 million years old. So just imagine how ancient this Western Ghats are. So fascinating, isn't it? So this is this is a very interesting thing. This is the Shola grasslands of Western Ghats. So this is also tropical evergreen forest, very unique. It is found only in Western Ghats, found nowhere else in the world. So very unique, very beautiful as well. Next, why a lot of species are there in Western Ghats? Because the weather is warm. If it is too cold, species can't survive, right? Or too hot also it cannot survive. It's warm because near to the equator, and plenty of rain is also there in Western Ghats. That is why this region is an island of refuge for all forms of life, right from ice age to, even if there is drought now, ice age, because of ice age and drought, lot of biodiversity in the surrounding areas reduced. But in the southern part of Palghat, the biodiversity did not reduce at all, in spite of deforestation, habitat threat, so on and so forth. So and one more thing, in the north of the Western Ghats, they receive rain annually, but southern only gets rain throughout the year. It is evenly spread out. So that is also a reason why there are a lot of species in the southern part. So so this is what this article is about. This is about Western Ghats and why there is a lot of species difference. So in this article we saw how how Western Ghats was formed, and how Madagascar was once a part of it, and how Palghat was formed, and what are the different species and why species difference is there. So that is what this article is about. Let us move on to the next topic. This topic is about ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce. This is in news. A lot of things about this is going viral. So let us see what is this about. So what is Open Network for Digital Commerce is? So it is a private non-profit Section 8 company, that is they do not make profit out of it. It is established by the government department, that is Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. So why they have developed it? To develop open e-commerce. So right now what they are telling, what ONDC people are telling, they are telling this is not meant to create a price war, because recently there was this thing which went viral. They compared ONDC, Swiggy and Zomato. So if it is 250 and 300 rupees in Swiggy and Zomato, it will just be 100 rupees in ONDC. So right now what they are telling is, they are telling we are not intending to create a price war, but we want just all the small enterprises, we want them also to get a threshold in digital commerce. So that is why we have started this ONDC, like that ONDC CEO is telling. So what is ONDC? It is a government backed modular network for e-commerce. You can do e-commerce there. You can use it as a food aggregator, grocery delivery, cabs, for everything you can use ONDC. So over the years it has grown, but partly because of the incentives it has provided to the participants. So pretty much the same strategy that Swiggy and Zomato use. They are giving a lot of incentives. But what is very nice is India Post is also going to join this. So Minister of Communications, they are telling India Post is also going to join the ONDC. So initially it had 800 merchants, 50 transactions for a day and 20 network participants. So right now they have the transaction are 10,000 for a day. So what is network participant? It is the term for tech firms that provide an app to access or sell through ONDC. So if a tech firm provides an app to access or sell through ONDC, then they are called network participants. This network participant also has increased. So why was this ONDC launched? It was launched to curb potential rent-seeking behavior. Who are rent-seeking? Top e-commerce platforms in retail, food delivery and cab aggregation. So basically they are telling Amazon, Swiggy, Zomato, they are having rent-seeking behavior. That is, they are charging a lot, and they are becoming a monopoly, a duopoly. So all these things are not good for the market, not good for the economy. So ONDC was launched. So how it is different from Swiggy, Zomato is, in ONDC, each part of the value chain, first you have to catalog the order, then you will have to go to the restaurant, then delivering, restaurant or any other industry for that matter, then the consumer will get it. So that is how it is. But Swiggy, Zomato and all the process they'll do together, right from cataloging to delivering, Swiggy, Zomato will do. But what does ONDC does is, each part will be done by each different player. So in that way the price will come down, and they are telling if each part is done by different players, that is good. If one player is doing everything, then it is inefficiency. Inefficiency is created because of that, like that they are telling. So what has happened, there are new participants in the ONDC and they are getting a lot of financial incentives, and this they are passing it down to customers. So how they are passing it down, they are giving a lot of discounts. This is called hand holding support. So initially you give them a lot of discounts so that they are used to ONDC, and then they'll continuously use it. So that is called hand holding support. So ONDC is doing it. How they are doing it, they have raised a lot of finance from the banks. With that help only they are doing. So because of this incentive, ONDC is growing at a pace which is equal to that of Swiggy, Zomato and all. So they are going very well. So on Wednesday, Minister of State, so he said India Post is also going to join, and what does this show? It shows government is very keen on supporting and building digital public infrastructure. So like UPI is a digital public infrastructure, right? So public infrastructure is, if it is there physically, that is public infrastructure. So if it is there digitally, it is digital public infrastructure. So how does ONDC's architecture work? It allows network participants to whittle down. What is whittle down? So each process from the start to ending, each process is broken down and given to each small businesses. So, and that they want to do. And one more thing that they want to do is, they want to reduce the power of large players in the market like Swiggy, Zomato. And see, the honeymoon period for Swiggy and Zomato is also over. So they also have to compete with ONDC. So see, the problem with the Zomato and Swiggy is, they are asking 30 to 35% commission from the restaurant. So that is not good, right? Because the restaurants also have to make profit, so they also increase the price, and because of that the customers also have increased price. So this Swiggy, Zomato is venture capital based. Because of economic headwinds and recession, their funding has gone down, So what has happened? Zomato won't blink it because of the venture capital fund cut. What has happened? Zomato has done pay cut. That is, for every delivery they are now reducing 15 rupees for the delivery boys. So because of that, there were strikes in some cities. So already there is problem for Swiggy and Zomato. So next, what is happening? In the growth stage, ONDC is giving a lot of incentives to sellers. So what are the type of incentives? Close to 2 lakh a day if they can get customers to make purchases. So those kind of incentives also they are giving. So finally, what they are telling, we want both big players and small players to have same playground. They are not telling we are against big players, we are supporting small players, like that and all. They are not telling. They are telling big players and small players, they should have equal playground, then they can fight. So for that only we are creating ONDC, like that the CEO of ONDC has told. Now let us move on to the next topic. This topic is about Gaganyaan mission and how a parachute will be developed for the safe return of the capsule. So inside that capsule only astronauts will be there. So that parachute only will slow down the capsule and it will help the landing of the capsule. So who's developing it? It is being developed by Aerial Delivery Research and Development Establishment. It is an Agra-based lab which is functioning under DRDO. So they are only developing parachutes for Gaganyaan mission. So already they have done one demonstration. I mean, they're going to do one demonstration next month. I mean, most probably in July they'll have this first test demonstration. So they'll send people inside it. Right now it will be unmanned. They'll do 2 such demonstrations. Only if it is successful, they'll put it will be a manned mission, because the lives of astronauts inside the capsule is very important, right? So it is called the test vehicle demonstration, TVD1, which with this only they'll do the rehearsals. So I guess you all know about Gaganyaan mission. It is the India's first manned flight to space. So they are going to send men. So this was approved in 2018, and you might think it is a very expensive mission, but it is less than 10,000 crores. So the astronauts are called Vyomnauts because in Sanskrit, Vyom means space, and GSLV MK3 will be used for this project. So it will consist 10 parachutes. So 2 parachutes of apex cover separation parachute. So this is the protection cover for the crew module, and followed by this it will have 2 more drogue parachute deployment. So this will stabilize and bring down the velocity. So you might have seen file videos of rockets and all this capsules landing, right? So they will come with a great force, and once they open this parachute, this will reduce the speed of the flight. So with that, the astronauts will be able to land down safely. So once the drogue parachute releases, 3 other parachutes, that is the pilot parachute system, that will also will open, and then the main parachute, that will also will open. So all these will reduce the speed of the crew module, and because of that there will be the landing will be safe. So have a look at this module. So here only the parachutes will be there. With this only landing will be there. So right now what they are going to do, maiden human spaceflight is called G1. So they will send it in the end of 2024. But the life of the astronauts are very important, right? So first they'll have something called as G1, that is the unmanned demonstration. Then they'll have G2, that is also will be an unmanned demonstration. Only if both these demonstrations are successful, H1, that is with man, they'll send these 3 astronauts to where? To space. So you see there are a lot of benefits that come with a lot of people might think 10,000 crores they are spending and sending people to space. Why is this necessary? Because you see there are lot of other benefits also, and then there is something called a spin-off. So spin-off means you develop technologies for space, but then that the technology will be used for other purposes as well, for industry, for medicine, so on and so forth. So that is why they are spending so much money here. So this G1 mission is there, right? This will carry a humanoid, because initially you cannot have real people, right? So humanoid will be there, and the astronauts who are going to go on this flight, they are already going, they are training in Bengaluru. So what are they being taught? They are taught theoretical basics, how to do space medicine, launch vehicle, spacecraft system, ground support, all these things they are given training. And regular fitness session, aero medical training, flying practice. So all these things are part of the crew training. So an evaluation and assessment, all these things are going on because they should be fit right before they go. So all these things are going on. Now let us go to the previous year questions. So marginal standing facility rate, net demand and time liabilities, all these things are related to what? They're related to banking operations. Where is Chechnya? Chechnya is in Russia only. Darfur is in Sudan. Swat Valley is in Pakistan. So only one is right. So Panchayatan, what does it refer to? It is a style of temple construction. So one main shrine surrounded by 4 other temples is called Panchayatan. Pancha means 5, right? Which of the following pairs does not form a part of the 6 systems of Indian philosophy? Vimamsaka and Vedanta, they are all part. Lokayata and Kapalika is not a part of 6 schools of Indian philosophy. So that's all for the day. I hope you liked it. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Telegram and Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you again.